Hey there, Aaron Wills again. Aaron Wills again, bringing you another reaction video. Maybe I am. Yeah, I definitely am. I just had to fix my headphones first. Alright. We're going to go to youtube.com and find something to react to. Here we go. youtube.com. Enter. Alright. I turned the worst tropes into an actually good book. Let's watch this. This came up 2 weeks ago, but I ain't watched it yet. We'll watch it together, shall we?
The shape and size of a topper cap can make a huge difference in the way it fits your head.
What?
And the material in the cap and the way the hair is sewn on can make a huge difference in the style and the way the hair moves. This gifted topper that I'm reviewing today.
Is it possible to take all of the world's most hated tropes and combine them into a single book without that book turning into a total disaster? That's the question I was forced to face when I made this writing challenge video a few months ago, taking all of your favorite, most loved fiction tropes and combining them into the perfect novel. And sure, this process seems like success is probably guaranteed when you're working with the highest quality, most loved story ingredients. But what would happen if we were forced to work with the worst ingredients? The cringeworthy cliches, the skin-crawling stereotypes, everything you hate in a book. Sounds like an impossible mission, but I'm all for taking on the impossible.
Bum, 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 bum. Mission Impossible. How antiquated is that?
Good morning, Miss Emmett. The pages you're looking at contain the most hated fiction tropes according to readers all over the world. Whether they are plot devices, character traits, or fictional settings, many readers agree that these are by far the most contemptible ingredients to find in a book. They are, quite simply, cringeworthy stereotypes that readers everywhere are tired of seeing. Your mission, Abby, should you choose to accept it, is to take these ingredients and combine them to create a book that is actually worth reading. This tape will self-destruct in 5 seconds. Good luck, Abby.
In order to fulfill my mission, I couldn't just comb the internet for the worst fiction tropes of all time and combine them into one chaotic recipe for disaster. I had to refine the worst of the worst tropes. So once again, I took to Instagram and Discord and ran polls facing off bad tropes against each other to compile the list of story ingredients that we are going to work with. The first poll that we started this challenge with is the female character tropes. The most annoying type of bad female character is the pretty mean cheerleader. I can understand why. The pretty mean cheerleader is quite a cliche stereotype. And I think we're kind of all tired of seeing it because usually the pretty mean cheerleader is kind of the bully or antagonistic character towards our protagonist.
Look what we have! The perfect nerd couple, Jeremiah and Mia. Oh, Maya and Mia.
So we're gonna find a way to subvert that cliche. The most annoying type of good girl character is not like other girls protagonist. With good reason. I think we're all tired of hearing that phrase. And it's worth noting that every single one of these polls that I ran on Instagram, the same results won on Discord. Acts like a damsel in distress barely wins over doesn't realize she's pretty. So you guys don't like either one of those things, but acts like a damsel in distress technically wins. I'm tired of seeing girls who are struggling with getting over a breakup. We're gonna find a way to twist it, make it original. And I'm tired of seeing a
I kind of had that in my
greatest
first
strength
book too.
is aggressive. And close second was stubborn. Aggressive characters in general. They don't vibe well with me unless there's a real good reason for them to be aggressive.
You, Star Force lady, you're under arrest.
So her strength is aggressive. Stubborn we'll put down as a close second. And finally, I'm turned off by a female main character whose greatest weakness is self-deprecating. Now, let's move on to our male protagonist. The most annoying type of bad male character is the mafia gang leader love interest. And I guess it's kind of like the rule-breaking bad boy in a way, which got second. The most annoying type of good male character is the impossibly hot quarterback. Wow, 50% of the vote. Okay, interesting. I hate when he treats the girl like dirt. That is 73% of the vote. That one takes the cake, I think, for everybody. Almost everybody cannot stand it when the main guy character treats the girl like dirt. And then she loves him anyway. It's like, oh, please no.
He inspires an anger in me I did not know I possessed. And yet, I find that his good opinion means more to me than anybody else's. How can that be?
I'm tired of seeing the guy who is struggling with climbing the corporate ladder and winning a championship, almost tied with each other, but winning a sport or game won in Discord. And because it was so close of a tie here on Instagram, I'm gonna say that winning a sport or game is the winner. Which kind of fits, because if he's actually gonna be an impossibly hot quarterback, then he's obviously into football. Okay, I'm turned off by a main male character whose strength is protective and charming. Wow, guys. Okay, this is pretty close, but protective won. That's kind of a good strength. I guess it could get like kind of annoying if he was like borderline possessive of like,
what are you doing? Who are you seeing? Who are you talking to?
He doesn't ever let her have any space. I'm turned off by a male main character whose weakness is jealous.
That, by the way, is the way I am in real life. Unfortunately, I have to confess that I am jealous and possessive, and even verbally abusive. I have to confess that. It's cost me several relationships. Well, not several. It's cost me at least two. It's made three very close people to me hate me. There's no one, with one exception, with whom I've been in love that will talk to me today. It tells you a lot about me, doesn't it? Just one of all the girls I've been in love with will talk to me today. That's because she never acted toward me the way that I hate enough to want to call her names. She just was always cool. We were just always cool. I get this camera to where it shows me on the mic, I guess. I don't have anyone in my book that acts that way, but I am personally possessive and jealous.
And then a close second was dishonest. We'll say jealous and dishonest. So there's our main male character. I am not sure yet how he's going to be a mafia gang leader love interest and an impossibly hot quarterback, but we can do it. Romance ingredients. Choose the romance trope you can't stand. And the winner here is AI relationship with 56% of the vote. I honestly haven't seen this done a lot, so I'm not sure how overused it is, but it's definitely not my favorite genre. Choose the cringiest toxic love trope. 38% of the vote goes to stalker love interest, so this is shaping up to be scary. The worst opposites attract trope is teacher-student has by far the most hate, with 64% of the vote. I understand why, because I think this like immediately conjures images of like the creepy old male teacher who's like kind of being predatory towards a female student who's a lot younger than him. But that doesn't have to always be the scenario, right? I mean, teachers and students could be the same age, depending on what they're teaching and what the student is learning. Forced proximity annoys me when it's fated mates got 35% of the vote. And I agree. When somebody is like, oh, this is my soulmate, I'm meant to be with them, it is fate that we end up together, it kind of takes the stakes out of it. The one popular trope I dislike the most is love at first sight and love triangle are so close, but love at first sight won. It won this vote, but then in Discord, love triangle won. So again, I'm going to say Discord topples the vote. I actually like love triangles if they're done right. I understand that they can be so cliche and annoying when it's like just the flat, boring Mary Sue character who is trying to choose between two guys. One is nice to her, one is mean to her, and of course she's gonna choose the guy who's mean to her because meanness is always perceived as like being hotter.
It's hard to put these on with one hand. Sorry about that. I don't even know how I knocked them off. Just basically because I'm a fucking moron. Alright, what was she saying? I don't know. I didn't have my headphones on.
For some reason.
Edward?
If you ever touch her against her will again,
Don't do this!
she's not sure what she wants.
Don't do this!
But I think love triangle.
That's Twilight. I don't know. I've never seen Twilight. Never read it. Never seen it. Can't imagine I ever will.
Can
Read it
have
or see
a
it.
good twist put on them that make them interesting. That's what I tried to do in my latest book, The Other World. And I love it because it's not your average love triangle. And you'll have to go read the book to see what I'm talking about there. Worst conflict in a romance is cheating or miscommunication. I mean, I think there are certain scenarios where miscommunication can be done well, but cheating won. And finally, plot devices. I'm tired of plots that center around the chosen one wins 47% of the vote. And again, this is kind of like Fated Mates, where you're taking some of the stakes out of it because you know that this character is just destined to do something, so they're flung into the unknown. And sometimes against their will, but they aren't really making an active decision, so that can lead to making your characters too passive. And I think that's what people dislike about the chosen one, but we're gonna find a way to twist this cliche. Choose the plot twist that you hate the most. It was all a dream. Wins with 65% of the vote. I agree, again, taking the stakes out of it. It's like nothing really happened. Why were we here to see it? This one's gonna be hard to incorporate. I'm sick of stories that take place in high school. Wins, which is perfect because we have a pretty mean cheerleader, we have the impossibly hot quarterback. They belong in high school, right? Finally, last poll. I'm done with this character cliche. Mentor who dies to motivate the hero. That one is a bit tired. Boom! We have all our ingredients here now to start putting together our story. Yeah, some of them don't look like they belong together, but we're going to find a way to make this work. And to do this, I'm going to use my favorite brainstorming method, the method that I used last time in the other writing challenge video, which is first to figure out the who, the what, and the why, aka the characters, the plot, and the theme. Before we get into the next part of this video and start combining these ingredients into an actual story, I want to pause for a second real quick here to tell you guys about this really fun printable that I created for today's video to help you to take cliches and stereotypes and things that you think are overdone and overused and actually put your own unique twist on them and make them your own. Make them something unexpected that nobody has ever seen. So this is my official brainstorming guide to twist, tropes, and cliche.
This is funny because I was going to do that. I was going to take all the cliches and put them together and not write a good book necessarily, but just make it as it's supposed to be a real book, but use all the cliches. I would have my character looking in a mirror to describe him or herself. I'm going to wake up from a dream to start the book. And then, of course, I was going to start the book with it was a wet and rainy night, or however that goes. That's a cliche to start a book, apparently, to start a book with. It was a wet and rainy night, or however that goes. I could Google what's the biggest cliche. Hey Google, what's the biggest cliche how to start a book?
According to my story doctor.com, the author here is typically responding to the feeling that the end of the story is so much better than the opening. So he or she hopes to tease the reader into getting past the slow beginning.
Hey Google, what's the cliche for the worst start of a book?
I found this on the web.
Just tell me, whore. I hate when she says, I found this on the web. That would force me to read what she found, which I have no problem with reading, but I'm not near my phone. If I was near my phone, I wouldn't have to ask it. I would just look it up and read whatever popped up. I'd let Google sit in my lap and talk about the first thing that popped up. Here we go.
Into something unique. And you can grab this guide by clicking the link below this video right now. Download it, print it off, and fill it out and see what you come up with. Because here's the thing. We can take cliches and things that are stereotypical and overused perhaps and turn them into something unique that nobody has seen like this before. It's all a matter of creativity and asking yourself the right questions. So that's why I designed this printable, to help you ask yourself the right questions.
By
so
the
you're
way,
not disheartened
coffee.
next time you see somebody complain about a trope that they don't personally like, that they think is overused. If any of those answers to the polls are ingredients that are in your book, take heart, because you can actually twist these tropes and make these cliches into something really unique. First step to do that is to grab the printable below this video. The link is in the description. Okay, without further ado, let's dive back into the computer and figure out what we can do with these ingredients to turn them into a unique story. Okay, let's figure out the who, the what, the why of this story. We're going to start with characters because that's my favorite place to start. Okay, so we have to work with the pretty mean cheerleader, who's not like other girls, acts like a damsel in distress, getting over a breakup, and her strength is aggressive, and she's stubborn, and her weakness is that she's self-deprecating. So I think the reason why a lot of people don't like the pretty mean cheerleader is because she's usually the antagonist of the story. She's usually a side character. She's usually aggressing upon our lovable main girl character. The first way we're gonna subvert this expectation is to make her the main character. That forces us to then ask ourselves, okay,
every time I watch one of these writing videos, it inspires me to stop the video and jump right back into the book I'm working on, which I'm working on kind of a new book, but I actually started it over a year ago. And I got 14,000 words into it and put it aside for the new book I wanted to start. I just put it aside. I guess I wasn't done with it because when I found it, I remember, oh yeah, I started this book. So I looked down at the word count. I got 14,000 words into it, which is a decent chunk of a start. I mean, that's not a lot. Certainly, the book's nowhere near done. But I wanted to read what I had. So I read what I had already, and I thought it was very good. So now I've been working on that again. I'm going back through, and I'm editing, and I've changed some things, because I'm a pantser anyway, so I didn't remember much about the book at all or where I was going until I read it. And I remember, oh yeah, I was going to do this. And I'm thinking, that's pretty good. And I'm setting up, it's going to be, I don't know if it's considered a twist or not. I'm going to leave I guess it's a twist. I'm going to leave breadcrumbs leading to the wrong place. And then, bang, what really happens is going to happen. And the reader's going to say, wait a minute, I didn't expect that. That's a twist. But the narrator, it's in first place, and the narrator is not going to lie about anything. That's very important. That's very important in any story, I would say. But especially in any story. But especially in a mystery, you can't lie to the reader. You have to give the reader enough clues. You have to give the reader enough clues to lead him or her to the right culprit. What was I going to say? I don't know. I'm going to watch the rest of Abby's video. And I'm going to try to post it. I haven't been able to find my video files lately. And I have no clue when I started this one. Here we go. Alright. Bang.
What turned her into the pretty mean cheerleader? What is at the root of this character's conflict? What has turned them into the person they are today? Because see, the misbehavior is on the surface. The misbelief is below the surface, and the misbelief contributes to the misbehavior. Maybe she's forced into this. Maybe she is living a life that she doesn't even want to live because of her internal conflict. So Vivian, the pretty mean cheerleader, didn't just stumble into the role. Her domineering mother, who is part of her private school's alumni, molded her into the perfect pom-pom wielding celebrity she is today. All because her mother has the unfulfilled desire to be the star of the show. Vivi believes she must earn her mother's love by continuing her legacy and being perfect, so she continues living out this false identity. At school, Vivi feels like she is a fraud. She secretly loathes the spotlight and is surrounded by so-called friends who don't genuinely care about her, only care to impress her. This internal turmoil forces her to put up walls, making her come off as cold, distant, or mean. But really, she's just a girl under pressure, worn down from working so hard to live someone else's dream. I like that. I can see some good misunderstandings there, where on the surface we have this character's misbehavior showing that she is cold and distant and mean, but beneath the surface she's actually struggling. And that's what really makes us care about characters, especially unlikable characters. Yes, you can care about unlikable characters, but we have to see their weaknesses. We have to see their fatal flaws, and we have to, I think, also see an element of compassion. Like, there's some outlet that this character has that they show compassion somewhere. So we know that they are just as human as we are. What is Vivi's outlet of compassion? She has this problem with her mother trying to vicariously live through her and hold her to this expectation of perfection. Of course, her strength is that she's kind of aggressive and she's stubborn, but we're gonna see a softer side of her, and that's gonna be where she's not like other girls. Her compassion outlet, which is going to be that she has a really good relationship with her grandmother. So she loves spending time with her grandmother and feels like that's where she can really take off the mask, is at her grandma's house, and kind of just be her authentic self and be loved unconditionally, not for anything she does, but just because of who she is. Because her grandmother is just a really sweet, loving, giving person, and Vivi actually is too, deep down. But that's not the facade that she has to keep up at school, so that's something that she never lets anybody else see. She can enjoy doing granny activities like baking and crocheting and watching period dramas with her grandmother, and that makes her not like the other girls. Now let's move on to the main male character. We have quite a interesting list of ingredients here. So he has to be a mafia gang leader, but he also has to be the impossibly hot quarterback and treat the girl like dirt, and he's obsessed with winning this sport. Okay. I feel like all of these things work together. The only thing is that he sounds like a totally unlikable person. Blake, Vivi's hot quarterback boyfriend, secretly comes from a mafia family. After his dad's recent death, Blake is named the chosen one, who will take over as the boss one day. But Blake dreams of a different life, playing college football and carving out his own path in life. His future hinges on his success in the sport, otherwise he'll be sucked back into the shadows of his family's criminal world. As for Vivi, he doesn't really love her, but she's beautiful and popular and perfect in every way. She completes the whole image he needs to maintain because he's secretly terrified that the kids at school will find out about his mafia connections.
Why?
So it's a relationship of convenience for both of them. But under the surface, Vivi and Blake both feel inauthentic and inadequate. So they kind of share a similar conflict here. He wants to lead his own life, but he's kind of trapped in this. And because of that, he's dishonest, right? He's like living this double life. But I think that kind of subverts the expectation of the cheerleader and the quarterback being a couple, because that's like very cliche. So what if they were a couple, but they didn't even love each other? And they both kind of know it. Like, he's still gonna be protective and possessive and jealous. But she knows he doesn't really love her, and he knows she doesn't really love him.
I'm Jo Frances Penn. I write non-fiction for authors as Joanna Penn, and I write thrillers, dark fantasy, horror, short stories, and memoir as J.F. Penn.
Also, Vivi's mother wants her to be with Blake because he's like this rich kid who comes from what she thinks is a good family, good background, and he just kind of fits the whole perfect image. So all that works together, because then that makes them kind of fated mates, doesn't it? If it's like totally...
My breakfast is here, so deuces.